Hello and welcome to SaltWire Today for Monday, March 13th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. The provincial government released their capital spending plan today.
The Nova Scotia Capital Plan for 2023-24 is a $1.6 billion plan with a focus on building and renewing healthcare facilities across the province. With a growing population, we need to address our aging infrastructure in healthcare, education, housing, roads, and highways.
This capital plan supports the government's More Faster, the Action for Health Build plan. Here's a look at some of those investments which have previously been announced, including the $275.1 million for the Halifax Infirmary expansion and Cape Breton Regional Municipality healthcare redevelopment projects. Some of the other capital plan highlights include over $240 million to build and renovate schools and $21 million for public housing repairs. A winter storm is expected to hit our region tomorrow into Wednesday. 10 to 25 centimeters of snow is expected to fall, with higher amounts projected to hit eastern Nova Scotia. Strong wind gusts are also in the forecast, and for more on what's to come, we're going to bring in our weather specialist now for a provincial breakdown.
Thanks, Kate. Well, after 3 stellar days here in the Halifax area, we do have a storm on the horizon, a nor'easter, although that doesn't necessarily equal heavy snow for everyone. This will be bringing a mix of snow, rain, and gusty winds to Nova Scotia beginning tomorrow. The low will be developing and strengthening near Cape Cod, but will slide south of Nova Scotia in an eastward direction very slowly through the middle of the week. So we will see some of its effects lingering until late Thursday in parts of the province. But let's take a look at the weather timeline, and we'll play this all out beginning on Tuesday morning. Cloudy across the province, but as we advance this into the early afternoon, we start to see that precipitation arrives in southwestern Nova Scotia early Tuesday afternoon, beginning as some wet snow transitioning to rain, and we'll see the wet snow arrive in the Halifax area mid to late afternoon on our Tuesday. As we go through the evening, that snow reaches northern and eastern areas of mainland Nova Scotia, and it will arrive in Cape Breton near and after midnight on Tuesday. Now, worth noting that across mainland Nova Scotia, we will see wet snow, and that will mix and change over to some periods of rain as we go through Tuesday night and into Wednesday. Now, on Wednesday, this is where the setup gets a little more interesting. It will be quite mild on Wednesday for most of the province, but we'll also have a bit of drier air in the mix, so likely more so periods of showers and drizzle for much of mainland Nova Scotia. Snow at times may be mixing with a bit of rain for Cape Breton Island. Then as we go through later Wednesday and into Thursday, we start to see some snow return back into the forecast for areas of mainland Nova Scotia as temperatures cool. So the snowfall outlook, of course, with this is very uncertain, but the lowest amounts will be in southwestern Nova Scotia, traced to maybe 5 centimeters. The rest of mainland Nova Scotia, generally 5 to 15 centimeters. However, parts of the North Shore, maybe even parts of the Eastern Shore into Guysborough County, could see up to 15, maybe 30 centimeters of snow over the highest elevations. And similar story in Cape Breton. 15 to 30 centimeters forecast. However, models are indicating that in the highlands in Victoria County, we could see amounts of 30 to 50 plus centimeters, and that is, of course, by late Thursday, so we'll need to keep a very close eye on that. We'll also see very strong east and northeast winds of 50 up to 70 kilometers per hour, but we could see some gusts of 70 to 90 along the Atlantic coast of Nova Scotia and as well in southwestern Nova Scotia. So this is a storm that we will want to monitor, has a true mix of everything for everyone, just depending on where you are. It could impact your March break plans, so if you do have any travel plans, make them accordingly over the next few days. And of course, I'll be back in a bit with the Halifax forecast. Kate.
And Alistair will be back in the weather section with our regular Halifax forecast tonight into tomorrow. According to a recently disclosed response to a Freedom of Information request, the Nova Scotia Health Department revealed the number of paramedics who have left work for reasons other than retirement has steadily increased over the past 5 years. In 2018, 41 paramedics left work for reasons other than retirement. The numbers increased over the years, seeing 55 paramedics leave in 2019, 73 in 2020, and 125 in 2021. And the number continued to climb in 2022 when 100 233 paramedics left work for reasons other than retirement. There are multiple reasons why paramedics are leaving the job in Nova Scotia, but the main reason is the pay difference compared to other provinces. The starting wage for paramedics here in Nova Scotia is about $26 an hour compared to $38 in other provinces. On the plus side, paramedic training is expanding in Nova Scotia this year to Yarmouth and Stellarton, in addition to the current sites in Dartmouth and Sydney. The idea is to spread the training to rural parts of the province to increase people's access to the training and to hopefully get more people trained as paramedics in the province. Sawwire's Tina Camo has that story.
An open house was recently held at the NSCC Burridge campus in Yarmouth to familiarize people with upcoming paramedics training that will be offered here starting in May. Yarmouth in the spring and also Stellarton, Pictou County in the summer have been chosen as new locations for the startup of this provincial training offered through Medavie Health Services, which is the company that provides paramedic services in Nova Scotia, including EHS. Up until now, paramedic training in the province has only been available in Dartmouth and Sydney, which is seen as a potential barrier for people who would be interested in doing the training, but might find it difficult to relocate to another part of the province for a year, which is the length of the program. Earlier this year, the Nova Scotia government announced that new rural sites for training in Yarmouth and Stellarton would be added to help increase access to the training program. Many see the benefit in doing this.
Not everybody can afford to go to Dartmouth for the year or to Sydney where the courses were offered. So to have it here, it's just, bring the courses to them if they can't make it to it. Just really will help the community train them locally so they can stay local.
The 12-month program costs $21,000 if you're enrolled in it. But to entice more people to take the training, which will hopefully aid with paramedic shortages in the province will provide a tuition rebate of $11,500 to paramedics who agree to work in the province for at least 3 years. More information about the Medavie training and application process can be found on its website. Brad Reed, Medavie Program Manager, says Nova Scotia provides great opportunities for paramedics.
We are training at a national level, but we're teaching to the Nova Scotia standards as well. And right now, this is one of the best spots to be in the country, in my personal opinion. Because we are doing so much in the streets right now as paramedics compared to other provinces in the country.
This is Tina Camo, reporting for Saltwire Network in Yarmouth County.
It was a nail-biting gold medal game at the Scotiabank Centre last night as the St. Francis Xavier X-Men fell short to the Carleton Ravens in double overtime. Carleton took home gold in a 109-104 victory over X in the U Sports Final 8 tournament. The Ravens' win completed a double gold Sunday for Carleton's hoops programs, making them the first university to win both men's and women's national titles during the same season since 1985. Halifax solidified its reputation as a sports city with the tournament establishing a new U Sports Final 8 attendance record of 40,092 fans, surpassing the previous mark set in Halifax in 2001. March break officially kicked off over the weekend and students are off school this week. A St. Patrick's Day parade was held in downtown Halifax on Sunday. Participants waved to the crowd gathered on Lower Water Street. The annual parade is presented by the Charitable Irish Society of Halifax. And more March break activities are on tap this week, including a Dinosaurs in Motion exhibition. You can not only look at it, but also control 14 gigantic dinosaurs with pulleys and levers. The center says it's also an opportunity to learn more about the prehistoric world and discover how robotics, animatronics, and motors work. The Discovery Center is anticipating a lot of visitors during the school break, so everyone who isn't a member is required to pre-book online before they visit. It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with Paula Rennie, a Lunenburg resident concerned over a proposal to allow development on common land known as Blockhouse Hill.
People have lives and work and jobs and family commitments and all of that. Has there been an effort to reach out to the elected officials? Is that something that has happened? Okay.
Yes, many of us. Well, I know I did. I know of 2 other people who wrote to the mayor and councillors asking for input into this, as in a public meeting, questions about how this happened in 2017. And we pretty much got a boilerplate response that, there were community consultations during the Project Lunenburg phase. That was back during COVID, and which resulted in the comprehensive community plan. But the plan is a plan. It's not an ironclad mandate for council to go ahead on a big decision like this. I'm not saying that everything council decides should be up for a plebiscite. We don't want to subject that or ourselves to, always running to council. But on a decision of this magnitude, and given that the public appears to have been unaware of the change in legislation, it is really incumbent on the town council and the mayor to speak to us directly.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of saltwire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
We're here at the Joe Lamontagne Tournament 40th anniversary. Michael, what does it mean to you to be here?
Well, I love being here. Every single year I come back, take a couple of days off of work, and come and hand out some trophies. It feels great, especially seeing my grandfather's name everywhere. I know my daughter loves it, seeing Joe written everywhere. And this is getting to see some good hockey. That's look forward to it every year.
How does it feel to have fans back in the stands, no restrictions, and have teams like Newfoundland be able to come here and participate?
Well, it's awesome. I love seeing all the big crowds like you see out there. There's tons of people, tons of fans, and it's great hearing the noise. Hearing all those screaming parents and blowhorns and the what's going on from the other teams, and it's a good atmosphere, especially if you can see here as well. They went all out with the banners and the paint on the ice, and it really looks real professional scene here.
You mentioned your daughter, Joe's great-granddaughter. What does it mean to be able to pass that legacy on?
Awesome. I can't express how much feels really great to see her, even though she's kind of doesn't quite understand the hockey game quite yet. She's still young. She really loves getting out on the ice and seeing all the boys and girls' faces coming up and handing them a trophy and, shakes with excitement.
From the Joe in Cole Harbour Place, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now. To see what's coming up in the forecast, we're going to check back in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Hi again, Kate. Well, it was a beautiful sunny day in the Halifax area, coming off a stellar weekend too, but that storm looming in the forecast will bring a messy mix of weather to Halifax. This evening, it will be mainly clear with the temperature near -2 and waking up near -3 on Tuesday morning. We will start the day with mainly cloudy skies and then cloudy in the afternoon on Tuesday with periods of wet snow beginning mid to late afternoon. We'll see the temperature rising up to 2 degrees in the afternoon. Now, we will see that wet snow transition over to some rain as we go through Tuesday night, so that should limit our amounts here in Halifax. I'm expecting about 5 to maybe 10 centimeters of snow, with the highest amounts further inland. We will see strong easterly winds gusting up to 60, 70 plus kilometers per hour as we go through Tuesday night. Lighter but still breezy on Wednesday. That's when we'll have some periods of showers or drizzle, a calmer day overall. But if you have any travel plans, especially later Tuesday and into Wednesday especially if you're heading to Cape Breton, do take care on the roads. And of course, we'll continue to have updates on this storm as the week progresses. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com. And you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.